Southern Maine Agency on Aging is pleased to present monthly wellness workshops for family caregivers in Southern Maine. Providing care for a family member can be extremely stressful, and oftentimes the caregiver is not able to focus on their own wellness. These monthly workshops will help caregivers to recognize sources of stress, understand the impact this stress can have on your own health and well-being, and identify strategies to manage stress and prioritize wellness so that you can take care of yourself and continue to provide care to your care recipient. Our workshops are centered on the term wellness and not self-care, because oftentimes self-care is associated with a one-time activity that offers momentary stress relief. Caregivers being told to prioritize self-care can feel like they just have another daunting task in the midst of a busy day of caregiving. Instead, we use the term wellness, which is the active pursuit to understand and fulfill your individual human needs. We understand that wellness, especially for caregivers, is a journey and cannot be solved by taking part in a one-time activity. Wellness is maximizing well-being in all aspects of life: emotional, financial, environmental, occupational, physical, social, intellectual, and spiritual. Our workshops emphasize the idea that wellness is functioning optimally within your current environment. Recognizing how stressful caregiving is, it acknowledges that wellness is conscious and evolving to achieve one's full potential. Mindfully focusing on wellness in our lives builds resilience and enables us to thrive amidst life's challenges and the challenges that come with being a caregiver. The National Council on Aging notes that more than 1 in 6 people in the United States provide care for a family member who is 50 or older, and while many caregivers describe this as meaningful and rewarding, there is also a growing number of these caregivers, a majority over the age of 50 themselves, who say they are finding it difficult to take care of their own health. Furthermore, studies show that health outcomes are impacted by caregiver stress. According to the Mayo Clinic, the emotional and physical stress caused by caregiving can lead to depression, anxiety, weakened immune system, excess weight and obesity, and chronic diseases such as heart disease, cancer, diabetes, or arthritis. Caregiving for an older adult with dementia can be especially challenging. While family caregivers of people with dementia, often called invisible second patients, are essential to the quality of life and well-being of the person with dementia, multiple studies also show that dementia caregivers experience increased risk of high blood pressure, elevated levels of stress hormones, impaired immune function, slow wound healing, coronary heart disease, higher rates of depression, anxiety, and social isolation compared to others their age, and more caregiver burnout than individuals caring for people with other chronic or terminal illnesses. The more burden a dementia caregiver experiences, the more difficulty they have managing challenging dementia behaviors such as aggression and wandering. It is important to note that dementia caregivers provide a longer duration of caregiving than individuals caring for people with other conditions, and billions of dollars of unpaid care each year. All caregivers take less time for themselves and may not prioritize their own health exams and routine appointments. Our wellness workshops are centered around the wellness wheel. Dr. Bill Hetler, co-founder of the National Wellness Institute, created the first wellness wheel model, which included 6 dimensions of wellness: intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, occupational, and physical. The National Wellness Institute believes that by focusing on and seeking to improve these dimensions, individuals can improve their overall well-being. Since this first model was created in 1976, many other wellness wheel models have been presented, some with as few as 4 sections and some with as many as 36 sections. The wellness wheel allows us to take time to examine different areas of our lives and work to make adjustments to help better our overall health. As you take a look at the wellness wheel, you will be able to get a better idea of where you feel fulfilled and where there are imbalances or opportunities for change. You can use the wellness wheel in our wellness workshops to focus on one area at a time. Small changes are easier to maintain and can be building blocks for larger changes. Our workshops focus on just 4 dimensions of well-being: physical, intellectual, social, and emotional. We'll introduce each dimension and some topics and activities that you can plan to expect for our workshops. Physical well-being is an essential component of overall well-being that directly affects long-term health. Important aspects of physical health include exercise, nutrition, and sleep. Fostering your physical well-being and tuning into your body's needs not only promotes your physical health, but can benefit your emotional, intellectual, and relational well-being too. Some ways you can try to prioritize your physical well-being could be by prioritizing your own medical health appointments and engaging in preventative medical and dental care, aiming to move your body daily. You may also do this with the person you are caring for, and fueling your body with proper nutrition and monitoring your intake of alcohol and other substances. Our wellness workshop centered around physical health will provide opportunities to explore different options for exercise and will educate caregivers on tips and best practices for sleep and nutrition. Some topics for physical wellness workshops might include health and nutrition education, body mechanics and fall prevention for caregivers, and caregivers providing personal care. Social well-being focuses on establishing and maintaining meaningful relationships with self, other individuals, groups, and communities, and develops from our interactions and connections with others. Having a network grounded in supportive relationships can help create feelings of satisfaction and security. Some ways you can try to prioritize your social well-being could be by learning to connect with a person with dementia in new ways as the disease changes their abilities, trying to maintain or build connections with others, sharing what you need from others, and joining a support group for camaraderie and resources. Our wellness workshops centered around social well-being will provide opportunities for social connectedness among caregivers and will help caregivers to foster connections that are important to them. Some topics for social wellness workshops might include learning to reconnect with your care recipient, education for difficult family discussions, and education of benefits for fostering relationships among caregivers. Intellectual well-being consists of critical thinking, stimulating curiosity, problem solving, and creativity. Intellectual well-being isn't confined to a classroom or office, but instead requires lifelong sustainment and cultivation. Some ways you can try to prioritize your intellectual well-being could be by staying curious and engaging in learning activities, hobbies, or skills, reading, joining a club or interest group, enjoying word games or puzzles, and learning time management skills to adjust your workload. Our wellness workshop centered around intellectual well-being will provide opportunities for a wide variety of educational caregiving topics to encourage caregivers to stay curious and engage in learning new materials. Some topics for intellectual wellness workshops include financial management, care decisions through journaling, and cognitive health education. Emotional well-being is the recognition and acceptance of your thoughts and feelings, whether they are positive or negative. This awareness and acceptance of emotions is necessary in cultivating balance and resiliency. Some ways you can try to prioritize your emotional well-being could be by going to therapy, joining a support group, learning stress management skills, asking for help, and practicing mindfulness exercises. Our wellness workshop centered around emotional well-being will give the caregiver the tools and space to explore creative outlets that help the caregiver to better understand their emotional health and needs. Some topics for emotional wellness workshops include music and sound therapy for caregivers, coping skills and stress management skill education, and mindfulness exercises. Our family caregiver support team will host wellness workshops each month and will rotate through the 4 dimensions of wellness we just discussed. Participants in our wellness workshops can expect to be provided with education and resources about the wellness topic of the day, followed by an activity and discussion. Our workshops will be an hour and a half long and will provide caregivers with instruction to improve knowledge and performance of specific skills relating to caregivers and wellness. Wellness workshop topics will be presented each month in the Family Caregiver newsletter. We ask that caregivers register for each workshop on our website. To sign up for the monthly newsletter or with any additional questions about these workshops, please reach out to the Family Caregiver Support Team at familycaregiver@sma.org or 207-396-6541.